Unfortunately, several students or several individuals actually witnessed this happen.
Now at 5, Utah Tech rocks by what police are calling a horrific accident. Hear from the people who got to know the college freshman before a deadly fall. Plus, $270 million on the line after a freak event in Arches. What we know about the day a Ugandan activist would no longer be going home. Why the family blames the U.S. Park Service. And
all of a sudden there was a dad, and I was like, oh. And then it was like terrifying.
A daughter separated from her dad at birth meets him for the first time. The strange connections between the duo, who are more a family now than ever before.
Live, we're there for you. ABC 4 News at 5 starts now.
Good evening, I'm Emily Flores.
And I'm Glenn Mills. Thanks so much for joining us. Today marks the first in a 5-day trial after the death of Ugandan women's activist Esther Nakajigo. She died back in 2020 when visiting Arches National Park on a windy day, a gust blowing open a gate that crashed into her car and killed her.
Yes, ABC4's Ali O'Rulian at the federal courthouse in Salt Lake City. And Ali, you've been there all day following the proceedings. What are they saying?
So Emily, Glenn, the family in court today with this $270 million wrongful death and a personal claim lawsuit against the National Park Service. Now, in the pretrial, the U.S. has already admitted fault for Esther or Essie Nakajigo's death, but what's being argued today in court is the amount of money owed to her husband and her mother and father. Now, in June of 2020, 25-year-old Esther Nakajigo and her husband, Ludo Michaud, were driving in the rental car visiting Arches National Park when a strong wind gust swung open a gate, crashing into their car and decapitating Esther. Her husband, mother, and father suing for hundreds of millions for both economic and non-economic damages, saying not only was her death incredibly traumatic, she was a rising star of activism in her country of Uganda and across the world, creating a huge economic loss. The defendants arguing there is evidence Esther wanted to help others but not enrich herself, telling the judge a more adequate amount for her family and husband based on the projection of her earnings and emotional damage is $3.5 million in total. Esther's work centered on helping child mothers and empowering and helping women, recognized by her country and the UN. Her mentor and colleague Wilson Jaga taking the stand today, his testimony showcasing Esther's prominence in Uganda, citing her creation of a health center, multiple humanitarian reality TV shows, awards, scholarships, and more, as generating over $540,000 in 2019. And he describes her as full of life, creative, driven, shining, and someone he's never seen before since and has never seen since.
Esther was a star. She was one in a million girls who came from nothing to something, and not only for herself, but for millions of girls in Africa.
Now, her mother and husband in court today, comforting each other through this trial. I'll have more on what Jaga said about Esther coming up on ABC4 News at 6. Reporting live in Salt Lake City, I'm Ali O'Rulian, ABC4 News.
Ali, thank you. Time now for a first look at the weather forecast.
Yes, let's head over to forecaster Bob Bedore in for Alana Brophy today. Bob, happy Monday to you.
Well, a happy Monday to you, and a happy Monday for all the skiers who got a little bit of snow today. And it wasn't quite the bad commute that we thought it might have been. Things are actually looking pretty good now outside our studios right now. 36 degrees. You can see just a slight little breeze on our flag there, thanks to our colonial flag camera, and a little bit of cloudiness going on in the background. Those clouds are starting to work their way out. We can see that they are making their move across, but a little bit of storminess still going. Let's get rid of those clouds for a moment there, and we can see our storm tracker radar is giving us a little glimpse of what could be going on. And as we are seeing it closer, the storm's going to rise up a little bit more, so we could impact the commute just a bit. If we're going to be leaving in just a bit, you might get a little bit of snow. Not going to be too bad, though, so you should be able to get through that fairly quickly, fairly easily. But we do have winter alerts still going on. We've got winter weather advisories that were extended here in northern Utah until 9 p.m. tonight. They were set to go this morning, but now extended, and that's for the Wasatch and Uintas. And they actually extended the area as well, as we are looking below down south into Monticello, Moab. That'll be going on till more. I'll tell you all about what's going on in my full forecast in just a little bit. Back to you.
Thank you, Bob. We are hearing from friends of Peyton Hall this evening. Hall died early Sunday morning after falling some 5 stories from campus housing at Utah Tech University.
Peyton also was a Bingham High School grad, and that's where we find ABC4's Jordan Burroughs live for us this evening. And Jordan, what are his friends saying to you tonight?
Emily and Glenn, I've had several conversations with Peyton Hall's friends. I mean, it's easy to find someone who was a friend of Peyton Hall's. They say Peyton was always so full of energy, always one of those people that wanted to be doing something. They say he was such a very funny and charismatic guy. Before he went on to his college adventure down at Utah Tech, he had to stop here for high school at Bingham High School, and he was a part of the wrestling team here at Bingham High School. I also spoke to police today who did tell me once those 911 calls first came in, they said they responded pretty immediately. They say that responders were on scene within 2 minutes. We know Hall fell more than 50 feet to his death at Campus View Suites 2. That is a part of the campus housing at Utah Tech. Police tell me they are calling this a, quote, tragic accident at this time. They add that when they arrived on scene, they did all they could to try to save Hall's life, but unfortunately, it wasn't enough as he died on scene. We spoke to one of his former high school wrestling teammates who says he was the kind of guy everybody wanted to be around, so full of life.
He's always just like really energetic, and he was a goofball, but he had a lot of character. He was such a good friend. He's the only friend that ever like checked up on me as we've gone to different schools.
Tablet Stoel, who you just heard from, was one of his high school teammates here on the wrestling team at Bingham High School. He says they were trying to convince each other to go to school together, to potentially room together. He says this past summer they made what they thought was going to be a lifelong friendship. Talking to him, very upsetting conversation. He says it just still hasn't hit him that his friend Peyton Hall has died. I asked police if drugs or alcohol were a factor in Peyton Hall's death. They said it is not. However, they are awaiting toxicology results along with a cause of death from the medical examiner. Reporting live in South Jordan, Jordan Burroughs, ABC4 News.
Jordan, thank you. New developments in a federal investigation into a self-proclaimed prophet of the Fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints leader, Samuel Bateman. 8 girls found hiding out in a Washington state Airbnb after running away from their group homes in Arizona. The state first taking them away from the FLDS community on the Arizona-Utah border over safety concerns after arresting Bateman for marrying minors and accusing him of sex trafficking across states, including Utah. Feds saying Bateman contacted his adult wives while in jail to talk about the alleged coordinated effort to get the children back. The FBI accusing one of Bateman's wives of kidnapping the girls.
And the story of the University of Idaho student slaying still developing as new leads seem far and few between. In the latest development, the roommates living on the bottom floor of the off-campus house when a killer or killers stabbed 4 students in their beds. Speaking out, a pastor reading their statements at a memorial service on Friday.
I know somewhere Xana and Ethan are together, keeping each other company, watching us and telling us it's okay. Maddie and Kaylee were like second moms to me. They changed the way I look at life and how to enjoy life.
The students now dead 3 weeks and still no suspects named in their killings, mounting questions and concern taking a toll on the community and the police department who wish they had more answers.
A study of 10 million car insurance quotes resulting in a finding that may not surprise many of us. Utah drivers ranking the worst in the country overall after ranking high in every dangerous driving category. Utah coming in first for speeding, 5th for number of accidents, and 8th for DUI. Utah up from 6th worst in the same study in 2021 and 22nd worst in 2020. The state with the best drivers, according to this study, Connecticut. Now to new details in a deadly crash. We're learning a key member of Tiny Tim's Foundation for Kids died in a rollover accident from Bangor Highway onto 90th South last week. Niall Thacker was on his way to deliver toys for the West Jordan nonprofit when police say a man driving his 6-year-old daughter sped onto the off-ramp, hitting the toy maker's car, sending him off the highway and into a building. He died on scene. Tiny Tim's is an organization that hand makes toys out of scrap wood and donates them. The organization posting about their loss today.
And now to a holiday miracle. Utah, beloved for creating a Christmas show touring across Utah for decades, will receive a life-saving kidney transplant. Michael McLean is who we're talking about. Wrote and created the Forgotten Carols in 1990. Since then, more than 1 million people across the globe have seen it on stage. After 30 years touring Utah, this year's performances look different. McLean having to sit back as health concerns grew. But thanks to a living donor, McLean could hit the stage once again next year. And 'tis the season of giving. The ABC4 News team is helping Toys for Tots gather donations to brighten up the holidays for children in need. You can drop off new and unwrapped toys or gifts for toddlers to teens. You can drop it off at any Papa Murphy's location or bring it right here to the ABC4 News station. That's through December 18th.
A Utah father meets his daughter for the first time after choosing to give her up for adoption 30 years earlier. Chris Rosenlaw finding his daughter Rachel Robertson after both decided to send a DNA test into the same ancestry and genetic testing website. Rosenlaw says he was young when Rachel was born and that his biggest regret is choosing not to meet her before she went to her new family. But what he does not regret is the decision to give her a chance at a better life.
Never feel bad that you might have to give someone up for adoption, because sometimes you're doing a big favor to them.
It was just so good to know that, like, there was a reason that I was looking, and there was a person out there that was looking for me too.
Now, what they couldn't guess ahead of time is how much they had in common. Living only 20 minutes apart and both being self-described nerds, Rosenlaw complimenting his son-in-law's costume at a FanX convention years before this unexpected reunion. Head to our website, abc4.com, for more on this story.
Incredible. All right, still ahead, a major case debated in the highest courts. Business owners versus LGBTQ plus rights go head to head. We hear the arguments from both sides.
And looking live over Deer Valley, looking very wintry spectacular. We've got more storms coming. We've got a very active week coming up, and I'll be telling you all about it in my accurate forecast coming up right after this break.